just kind of like, you know, and then I'm not even to the part where at the end, Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Acolyte finale. Yeah, this was rough. Basically, Osha is with Chimere, the Sith guy, and Chimere, the Sith guy, is so good looking and handsome. I like having him on screen, but it's like the writing behind it is really bad. So more of the whole thing, the whole problem, like, it just continues with the characters doing whatever because the writers want them to, and there's no character motivations for, like, anything, and it makes it just so forced and convoluted and just not enjoyable at all. So basically, Osha and the Sith guy decide to go to Brendok, because she puts the helmet on and she has this like force vision, and it's random and doesn't really explain why, but it like makes him go into this other place and he can't get through to her, and then he does, and then she apparently saw the future, so she knows where May and Soul are going to be. So May and Soul, she basically escapes, and there's this chase scene, and I don't know, and then she escapes, but then she crash lands on the planet he was taking her to. So it's like, then what was the point? They just needed the escape because they did this. She gets on a ship and gets out, and he chases her through this asteroid field, so they just needed an excuse for a ship chase scene, but it didn't make any sense because guess what? They landed where they needed to anyway. So, and then Osha is talking to Chimere and says that this elevator is the only way inside, but then Soul finds another way inside, and then May finds another way inside, so like that didn't make any sense. I was complaining about that the whole time. And essentially, Soul basically faces up against Chimere, and then the two sisters talk to one another, and they have a fight, which their fight was really just awkward and stilted, and the fight between Soul and Chimere was good at some points, and then at other points the like over-exaggerated reactions for some reason, oddly enough, reminded me of Power Rangers, and I don't know why, which the Power Rangers fight scenes are like always known to be the cheesiest things. So I don't know. And then some parts of it was like awkward slow motion that for me didn't work, but they did have a lot of like Tai Chi and like or at least a Tai Chi type of martial arts, which was interesting. But it's like, I get that it's cool, right? It's really fun to watch. However, when you're trying to fit it into a universe that has a precedent for how the fighting styles work, the Jedi fighting styles have a set way of what they are. Like, I don't know them as well as some other people like Star Wars Theory and some other ones, but it's like they have a set way of what these fighting styles look like, and it doesn't look like Tai Chi. Using the Force doesn't use the Tai Chi stuff. Like, it's cool to watch, but it doesn't fit in with the universe. It's so just random, and it's like, and that's another problem with this, is that the Jedi and the Force and the way that they use it and just the way that they act don't fit in with the Jedi that we know that's just 100 years after this. It's just so weird. So basically Osha gets there and with the Chimere and Soul, and gets Soul to confess. May is I got the names mixed up. May is with Soul and Chimere, and she gets Soul to confess while Osha is secretly listening, and the whole predictable moment, like, oh, you killed my mother, you betrayed me, and he doesn't even say that, like, oh, she was turning into this big smoke demon, and I thought that I was saving your sister. Like, he just killed her, just for no reason, absolutely none whatsoever. He doesn't really rise to his own defense. It kind of destroys his character, and then either he doesn't fight back or Osha overpowers him, which doesn't make any sense because he's a Jedi Master and she's stopped training at a certain age because she was too emotional, and yet somehow she's able to force choke him. So either he just decides to let her kill him, in which case it's kind of like his version of suicide, what that other Jedi did, or it's just completely ridiculous. So this whole time they have Plagueis watching from the shadows, and I was so mad because, you know, they're doing it for the shock value, like, hey, here's Plagueis, we put him in here. not caring about the lore and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense with the lore and the canon and the precedent. And it's just like the precedent that has been set that's just 100 years after that, or what it does to Plagueis' character. Like, are you, Leslie Headland and all of you creators, even if Dave Filoni signed off on this, what was he thinking? Anybody who okayed this, what are you thinking? So you're telling me that one of the most evil Sith in the entire galaxy, that was a Sith legend, okay, legend, a Sith, one of the most powerful ones that ever lived, that still could not quite achieve creation of life, not entirely. You're telling me that he learned it from a bunch of random witches. That it's so stupid. And these witches on top of that. And it's like, so his obsession he just saw these girls and the virgins in the Force and like the witches, and that's what gave him the idea. And it oh my gosh, it's just, at this point it hurts. It just hurts how much they're destroying. It's literally like Kathleen Kennedy and the people in charge have a checklist. All right, we're going to start with Luke, and then we're going to go through all the OGs, and then we're going to start in with the prequels, right? And we're going to destroy Anakin's character. So we're going to start with destroying what he did and how he destroyed the Sith. So we do that in Rise of Skywalker by having Palpatine not really be dead, and you know, Rey is the one that gets to destroy him and all the Sith. So we're going to destroy what he did and him being the chosen one by destroying all the Sith, and then we're going to destroy his beginning. So he's not the only Force-born, you know, child, and he's not the only virgins, and you know, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna go back even further to Plagueis and what he was trying to do to create life, and how, you know, he was trying to create life, so the Force retaliated by creating Anakin, the chosen one, meant to destroy the Sith. Like, so they're going through a checklist at this point to destroy everything that made Star Wars what Star Wars was. Everything that George Lucas intended is just gone. And it's just, at this point, like, I actually have a headache. I have a raging headache right here because I'm so mad. Like, it was funny to make fun of some of the the episodes of The Acolyte. Like, I was having fun just giggling about the bad writing. But at this point, it is a deliberate action taken to destroy beloved characters and beloved lore and a beloved franchise for the sake of whatever. Like, all this woke stuff. This whole show is just one big therapy session for Leslie Headland. Like, it's just so, like, there's just so much that's just like, I don't know. Like, all the storyline with the girls and the witches and the oppressed and the oppressors and the, you want this kind of life, but your people or this other people wanted this kind of life for you. And it's just, it's like therapy for her past, but that doesn't belong in Star Wars. And then on top of that, we have the green-skinned chick, Genestra or whatever her name is. I don't know her name, but she's the one I suspect is Chimere's master. It's pretty obvious at this point because she lands on Bryndock and she's like, he's alive. I know he's alive. And then he puts on his helmet, like, friggin', okay, gotta put on my Magneto helmet again. And there's still with the things about her having like tummy problems in hyperspace. Like, I have IBS. I don't want to watch that crap in a freaking fantasy world or a sci-fi world that's supposed to take me out of reality. Like, I have IBS in real life. I don't want to hear that a Jedi Master, who is the most epic hero of all time, and not her per se, but like the concept of a Jedi is like a heroic character, a heroic type of character, and they have tummy problems. Like, that is a level of realism that we don't need in Star Wars, all right? We suspend belief. We don't need to know about their bathroom breaks. We don't need to know about their day-to-day life. That is not Star Wars. I did not come here for the reality of the characters. I came here to get taken away from reality and just live with these heroic heroes that don't need bathroom breaks. Like, we don't need to know that. Like, yes, they're eating, they're sleeping, they're going to the bathroom. That's not the point of watching Star Wars. So we don't need to know about her tummy issues. And then apparently the politician that she was talking to, he knows that she covered this whole thing up, so who told him? And then he also knows somehow that the Jedi are going to be destroyed. I don't know, is he just taking a wild guess? Like, apparently it was just common knowledge, it was just inevitable that Anakin was just gonna come and destroy the Jedi because it's their fault. It's totally like, the Jedi did hold some responsibility for what happened to Anakin, but this is making it sound like, well, it was inevitable. The Jedi they are stupid, so they're gonna fall eventually. The Jedi are, you know, the way that you are is just this bad thing, so eventually you're gonna get destroyed one way or another. Ugh! I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. 0 stars. Like, this is into the negative stars. Like, we're going negative infinity stars because this is absolute. Like, I'm not even going to give this the dignity of an actual star rating because this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, Leslie, get your butt out of Star Wars, and anybody else who is using Star Wars to tell their story and to tell their own therapy session and to insert all their own crap into this, like, get out. Star Wars does not need you. That's not what Star Wars is about. And I don't understand how people can get by with writing in a universe and not understanding the universe. Like, when I was in college, okay, people don't go to writing for college. Like, I've had a lot of people just laugh at me about this. I went to writing for college, and we had this script writing for TV class. We did film too, but TV was the big one. And our assignment was to pick a TV show and write an episode of it, and it was 10% of our grade, and our grade all rested on how well we knew that TV universe. And if we didn't do it well, we failed the class. Like, oh my gosh. And one of the, like, we were drilled about the story Bible, which is a story Bible in a TV series, specifically, is all the information about that universe. Like, say you're messing with, like, you're talking about, like, I did the show Elementary, which is like a Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery. Like, if we're talking about like one of the crime shows, the one of the rules could probably be Sherlock always solves a mystery. The Scooby-Doo, for example, just as a silly cartoon example, Scooby and the gang always solve the mystery, and the bad guy is usually always a man in a mask. Like, that's kind of the story rules. So you go in writing an episode and you have to stick to that. You know, same thing with a lot of, like, Criminal Minds and, like, that. There's been exceptions, like, with really dramatic episodes. Anyways, obviously, like, you have a few exceptions for dramatic storyline purposes, but you get my point. Like, we were taught that when you go into as, like, a TV show writer, like, you're not immediately going to get to start your own TV show. You're going to be a writer for somebody else's show. And so you have to read up and really learn and understand how that universe works. You know, like, you have to understand how it works, as if you're writing an episode, it has to fit with the other episodes that come before and after it. So you have to understand the universe. And I don't understand how this is happening to Star Wars, that the writers that they're hiring are not doing their research. They don't understand Star Wars. They're like, even if you take something as simple as the lightsabers, they did one of those X moments where the lightsabers come together and they're like pressing on each other and there were sparks flying everywhere. And it's like, well, that never happened. Like, lightsabers don't do that in the originals or the prequels. Like, they don't really make sparks fly against each other. And it's just like, even something so simple as that, or the fact that they use that little mole rat thing to track, like, what? Do you guys not understand the idea that they actually can use the Force to sense things? Like, Soul didn't sense that May was actually, that Osha was actually May, and yet Chimera was able to sense, I don't know, it was just like, it's just like these things that build up, and it's like one thing after another, that just continues to show that they probably didn't even, like, watch Star Wars before they decided to write an episode of it, and they don't understand Star Wars. They don't understand the characters, the lore, the plot lines, the themes, the way that certain things work, like the way that Force works, the way that lightsabers work, the way that the Jedi are supposed to be. Like Ki-Adi-Mundi, even something as simple as Ki-Adi-Mundi saying the Sith have been extinct for a millennium, and then they included him in this show in an episode where they knew that Jedi were being killed by something. Like, he would have brought that up to Qui-Gon, like, well, there was an incident about 100 years ago that there was Jedi being killed, and we never did really figure out what it was. Like, it was just kind of like, you know, and then I'm not even to the part where at the end, the two girls and Chimera are standing by the tree, the Bantha tree, or whatever the tree was called. I don't even remember. The Boontha tree. And for some reason, Chimera's like, well, I can erase her memory, May's memory, and you can come with me. And so Osha's going to go with Chimera and train with him. And he's just going to erase May's memory. Why doesn't May just go with them? why does she have to leave, and then why are you giving her over to the Jedi, who's probably gonna like keep her captive or something for her crimes? And it's like, why aren't you going with the Sith guy? And then it's like, since when can the Force, whether light side, dark side, erase somebody's memory? Like, oh, well, that would have been helpful. Could have just done that to begin with at any point in any of the movies. Didn't know that was a thing. What did you guys think of the finale and the show? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Just please be respectful for anybody who disagrees. But in the meantime, if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like, because I suffered. It was a lot of suffering with this show. Please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you liked my review of The Acolyte, then please check out my review of the House of the Dragon show, because I watched it at the same time, and let me tell you, that is 1,000. Even the dialogue difference was like Shakespearean, amazing, epic over here on House of the Dragon, and it was like modern and stupid and just unintelligent and dumb with The Acolyte. So if you want me to actually like review a show, watch me reviewing a show that I really, really enjoyed, check out the House of the Dragon. I'll have the first episode popping up here. Yeah, that's all I can say. I'm glad this Acolyte thing is over, and I hope it doesn't get renewed for a season 2. But anyways, check out my review House of the Dragon episode 1, and yeah.